So a function is where every x, every input only has one output. Every input has only one output. Okay, where x is faithful. X is faithful. Right? X isn't a cheater. That's what we were talking about when it comes to this definition. Okay? So we're going to look at 4 examples about functions. Okay. So, everyone good if I move off the slide? All right. Do not write this down. That'll be the absolute most. If you want, you can take a screenshot of it. I know it's beautiful. Okay. So for a mapping, in order for it to be a function, remember every x can only have one y. So -3 is with 2, -2 is with 4, -1 is with 3, and 0 is with 2. Does every x value only have one y value? Does every x only have one y? Yes, every x has one y. -3 is only 1, 2. -2 is only with 4. -1 is only with 3. 0 is only with 2. It doesn't matter if they share the same y value. Each x is faithful. So this is a function. But look at this one. -3 is with 5 and -3 is with 20. So is this a function? No, this is not a function because -3 has 2 y values. So this is not a function. Looking at these tables. -3 is with 2. -2 is with 4. -1 is with 2. And 0 is with 3. So -3 is with 2. -2 is with 4. -1 is with 2. And 0 is with 3. Does every x only have one y? Yes, there's no repeating x values, so I know that each x is faithful. But if you look at the example of the non-function, you notice -3 is with 5, but -3 repeats again, and it's with 20. So -3 has 2 y values, 5 and 20. So this is not a function. So when you're looking at a table, you look and see if any of the x's repeat. Guys, these problems are not meant to be hard. But on the 9-week test, these were some of the most missed questions about functions. Like 50% of us only got these questions right. So if you're not understanding, you gotta speak up. On a graph, we do something called the vertical line test. So we put a vertical line through the graph. If it hits it one time, then it's a function. So this top one, it's a function. It's only hitting it one time. One time. No matter where I put the line, it only hits it once. So this is a function because every x only has one y. But when I do the vertical line test to this graph down here, it hits it how many times? 2 times. So because it hits it more than once, it's not a function. And that's because that means these x values have multiple y values. These x values have multiple y values. And then for a pair, for ordered pairs, we do the same thing as a table. If any of the x's repeat, then it's not a function. So -15 is with 3, -4 is with 5, 10 is with 4, 12 is with 8, 15 is with 5. Okay, so this is a function because every x only has one y. I didn't mean to put a line on the. It doesn't matter if they share the same y value. Every x only has one y. But on here, if you look, 5 is repeating, 5 is with 7, and 5 is with 3. So I know that that's not a function. Okay, I need you to know this, love it, understand it, want some more of it. If you have a question, speak now. Because this is probably the last time we're going over functions before STAR testing. We might do a couple of problems here and there, but this is the last time I'm really reviewing it like this. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for function, so you said that if it is a function, then it's only going to stay to one of the numbers on the y.
For like what kind of, like for which one?
If it's a function, it's going to go to only one of the numbers on the y.
So if it's a function, x should only go to one y. Mm-hmm.
And then if it's not, so if it's not a function, then that means like one of the numbers on the x-axis is going to two numbers on the y-axis.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
For the table, if they're repeating the table, that's not a function. Mm-hmm. And for the graph, the line, if it hits it twice, it's not a function. Mm-hmm. And then for the ordered pairs, it's the exact same thing as like the table, just but like if they're repeated, then it's not.
Perfect. If the x is repeated, it's not a function. Perfect. Thank you, Lara, for reiterating. Okay. Any other questions? Zoomies? Questions? Questions? Okay. One last thing, and then I'm done. Well, let's do, yes. Let's do quick examples. I need everyone to type in the chat, private chat me if this is a function or not. I'll give you 30 seconds. Private chat me if it's a function or not. Waiting on about 12 people. Waiting on 12 people. Waiting on about 4 people. All right. So this is a function because every x only has one y. There's only one line going out of every x. What if I do this? Is it a function? No, right? Because 3 would be going to 2 y values. Okay, let's try another one. Function, yes or no? No, right? Because if I put my line through it, it hits it in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It hits it in multiple spots. All right, one last one. Go. All right, type it in the chat. Function, yes or no? Function, yes or no? Waiting on about 10 more people. 10 more people. All right. Awesome. Yes, it is a function. It doesn't matter if they all have the same y values. Every x value is different, telling me that this is a function. Cool. Moving on then. All right. Last thing, and then I'm done. Direct variation, direct variation, direct variation, direct variation. If something says it varies directly, that means it's proportional. If something says it varies directly, that means proportional. That if you write anything down, this is what I need you to know. If something says it varies directly, that means it's proportional. Or if something says it varies directly, that means it's proportional. And if something is proportional, that usually means we're about to set up a proportion. So if something varies directly, that means it's proportional. And if something's proportional, we're probably setting up a proportion. So let's look at an example. X and Y vary directly. Well, if they vary directly, I know that they're proportional. When X equals 12, Y equals 4.5. What is X when Y equals 20? Now, I think I remember in particular this class, last time we did something like this, people did it different ways, and I was fine with that as long as you got the same answer. So it says, when X equals 12, Y equals 4.5. Okay, so I'm going to put 12 over 4.5. When X equals 12, Y equals 4.5. What is X when Y equals 20? So what did I do here? I set up a proportion. Because if they're proportional, that means their ratios should equal each other. Notice I put X on top here, so I have to put X on top here. What do I do from here? Perfect. Cross multiply. Yes. So now I'm going to cross multiply. So 4.5 times X is 4.5X. 12 times 20 is 240. And then from here, what? Do I subtract?
You divide.
Divide. I'm going to divide because 4.5 and X are multiplied together. So the only way to get rid of it is to divide it. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4.5. Which will give me 53.3 repeating. And that's it.
So you know it's 53.3, right? The 3, do you put like the little line?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Or you could put 53 and 1/3 if you prefer. Okay, and remember, it doesn't matter. You could have put 4.5 over 12 and done 20 over X. It doesn't matter as long as you put whatever you put on top is the same thing on both proportions, on both fractions. Okay, one last example, and you're going to write your answer in the chat, and then we're done. The amount of gas in a car varies directly. That's proportional. With the number of miles driven. When a car has 15 gallons of gas, it has driven 20 miles. How many gallons of gas are in the vehicle if driven 45 miles? So when you get your answer, write it in the chat, right? Write it in the chat. Make sure when you do your proportion, if you're putting gallons on top of one, you have to put gallons on top of the other. If you're putting miles on one, put miles on the other, on the bottom or whatever. Make sure whatever's on bottom is same on both of them. All right, waiting on about 15 people. Mm-hmm.
So is it 15 over 20 or?
You can do it that way. It doesn't matter. If you do 15 over 20, then you have to do X over whatever that other number is, 45.
Okay.
Okay, so you just have to keep it the same for both proportions. Yes, baby.
So we multiply, so we do 20 times X.
Mhm.
So that's 20X.
Mhm.
And then 15 times 45.
Mhm. Trip, can you tell me the proportion you set up?
I
Alright.
set up
Okay, good. Sorry, go
in
ahead.
chat
Huh?
or like in chat or
No, out loud.
I set up 15 over 20 and then actually 45.
All right, so he did 15 gallons over the 20 miles. So he had to do X gallons because you don't know what the gallon, how many gallons over 45 miles because he put miles on bottom of the other ones. So Lara has already told us we do 20 times X and then 15 times 45. So that would be 20X equals 675. And then from here, what do I do?
You
Divide both sides by 20. And everyone who did type it in the chat, for the most part, everyone got 33.75. If you didn't get that, I do not know why I wrote it like that. X equals 33.75. If you didn't get that, speak up so I can help you, please. I want to make sure everyone feels confident.
Yeah, I got 30%, but also like the division.
Okay. Yes, baby.